I've really been enjoying this chill, like, sitting on the floor setup for my past few videos, so I'm gonna do that again. Hey, I'm Morgan, and today I'm gonna be talking about spraying edges. You've seen them. Books like Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdoms have the classic sprayed, painted, beautiful edges. What if I could tell you that you don't need to spend an obnoxious amount of money to buy a special edition book that just has sprayed edges? Y'all know this. I've been gone for a really long ass time. Like, everyone's done a video about this. And here I am submitting to the culture. I have more or less discovered that I am obsessed with painting the edges of my books. I did all of these by my damn self. So I'm gonna go through and show you the books that I have sprayed. I'm also gonna show you my book spraying process with some books that aren't here. They're at Ian's house, and I'm gonna spray them and then edit it in later because I'm a fucking great booktuber. Obviously, I didn't spray Six of Crows or Crooked Kingdom. That was just an example of like publishers doing it prior, but these are examples that I have done. I did these with my own fucking hands. I'm gonna start with this ARC copy of Don't Date Rosa Santos that I got. I sprayed it yellow because, like, obviously I had to do some yellow. In case you're wondering where I got an ARC of Don't Date Rosa Santos, my buds at some of my favorite indies have been letting me go through and look at their arcs that I'm interested in that they are not going to read for themselves, and I saw this one, I was like, oh my god, I gotta read that. And then I wanted to test to see if I could spray the edges of a paperback book. I didn't wrap this one as well as I did, so like the cover has a little bit of yellow, but like that's okay. It's really fucking cute. And then once I buy the hardcover edition of this book, I will definitely be spraying those edges as well. I've started spraying some of my favorite books. Paper Towns, I decided to do a green to go with like the map front, and The Fault in Our Stars I obviously did a blue that matches the cover way better than I was anticipating, and I am so happy with how this one turned out. Fault in Our Stars is one of my favorite books. It's one of the books that got me back into reading after like years, and so I had to. I also started spraying the first two books in the Arc of the Scythe series by Neil Shusterman, and I did them black. I think this looks really good, especially when the books don't have the dust jacket on. I think it just looks fucking stunning. I think that the black pages is an aesthetic that just never gets old. I think that there's something so sleek and gorgeous about it, and I really wanted these two books to do that. And I wanted to do something that would match whatever the cover of the third and final book in this series would be, so I thought, why not black, because they're a darker and grittier cover, and I'm so happy with my decision. The next book that I spray the edges of is one that I haven't read yet, and this kind of like makes me really want to read it, and that is Landline by Rainbow Rowell. Do you want to guess what color I did for this one? Yeah, I did yellow pages for this book. This is one of my favorite ones that I've done. I think it is so visually stunning, especially with the dust jacket taken off. Look at that, like, oh my god, that looks so pretty. I did goof up a little bit, so there is a little bit of bleeding on the inside because I did use spray paint for my books. I didn't use acrylic paint, and I feel like it looks a lot better, but I held the paint can a little too close, and that can cause some like bleeding effects, but it doesn't look too bad. I think it actually looks kind of cool and adds a neater effect. I love this one. I think it's gorgeous. I cannot wait to read this. That's so goddamn pretty. The next one I did is Meddling Kids by Edgar Cantero, and I sprayed this one orange. I think this one is so fucking gorgeous. I think it's so cool with how like art poppy and like 80s this cover is. I just thought that I had to do the neon orange pages. And the last three I did, I'm pretty happy about. That is my Shades of Magic trilogy by V.E. Schwab, and I did these all a gorgeous like blood red to match the covers. I can't believe that this one, like, I was able to weigh this one down enough to spray all in like 800 pages of this fucking book. It's 600 pages, but still, like, whew, that like that. Welcome to your ASMR. I think that this trilogy turned out so fucking perfect. Those are the books that I have sprayed so far. I'm like a woman obsessed. I can't fucking stop. I'm just gonna walk you through my process. I buy these little tiny cans of spray paint at Michael's. They come in an assortment of different colors. They're like $3.79 a piece here in Columbus. I assume they're the same everywhere. I like the tiny spray paint cans because it gives me a little extra control and I can reach like certain areas of the pages where with a larger spray paint can it'd be kind of hard to get in like a more confined, like smaller space. They're easier for me to hold because I have smaller hands, and a lot of paint comes in these. A little does go a long way with spray paint. I feel like you get more bang for your buck using spray paint than acrylic paint, and there's less room for error, I feel, with spray paint. I think with acrylic paint it can crack, it can just like not look the best, and it can damage your books a little bit more because it sticks to the pages, and then you have to go and individually separate each of your pages, and you don't have to do that with spray paint. You just have to do one flick through and then it's fine. I use just newspaper to wrap around the covers of the books. I've been using Scotch tape to kind of hold the newspaper in place. I do recommend, if you're a person who cares about impacting the end papers of the inside of like a hardcover book, to maybe use painter's tape, just because with certain books I noticed that like the Scotch tape, if you get it in the wrong spot and don't peel it up super carefully, it can like peel up a little bit of the inside. So if you can see, like right here in my copy of A Darker Shade of Magic, there is a little bit of like tear up from pulling up a piece of tape. I'm not super bothered by it because no one's really gonna see that part of my book. Like, it's my book, like I don't really have issue with it. But if that's something that you don't want to happen, you want to keep your books as pristine as possible, like I would recommend using a masking or painter's tape that won't tear up any of the inside of your pages. I just use a lot of newspaper and I wrap it around the outside of the book, and then I fold it in so that way it covers like the top part of the cover as well, and then I'll just tape it to secure it. Then what I do is I will use this like 15-pound kettlebell that Ian has, and I'll press it down on the book to weigh it down. And I do this inside, but I lay down like a trash bag that I've like cut open and flayed out a bunch of different ways to cover the floor, and then I put the newspaper covered book on top of it and then weigh it down with the kettlebell. Hi, it's continuity error Morgan here. I don't remember what past Morgan said at all. I'm doing this inside, but it's very well ventilated. I have the windows open, so if you're going to spray paint inside, make sure that you have like water near you and it's like in a well open ventilated area so you're not huffing paint fumes and getting high. Then I will take the spray paint can and I will hold it about 3 to 4 inches away from the book, and then I will spray it in short little spurts. From a farther distance, when you spray paint the books, it doesn't create that kind of bleeding effect on the inside of the pages, and then doing shorter spurts of paint ensures that you're not caking paint on and it's not too thick on the pages. I will say on my job on Meddling Kids, I held it a little too close and held it down a little too hard. You might be able to tell it is a bit of a thicker coat of orange paint. The texture of it is a lot thicker in the way that it is because I held down the spray paint can, as opposed to just doing it in short spurts and going back and forth. It creates a much more even distribution of paint and a much more like thin, but like it's a thin layer of paint, but it obviously works and it's not super cakey or too thick. Then I will let the paint sit for about an hour, and if I feel like I've missed any spots, I'll flip the book over, weigh it down again, and spray it from different angles just to make sure I've gotten every part evenly coated in paint. I let the paint sit for about an hour, hour and a half just to make sure that it is completely dry, and then I'll wash my hands just to make sure I don't have any paint on my hands. I will take the newspaper off and put the dust jacket on, flip through the pages a couple of times. It can be a little tense because it's had a lot of pressure put on it from a weight, and it's been painted obviously, so like the pages are a little stuck, but like if you flip it through, it'll make that little cracky noise a couple of times and then you're good to go. And then I will just set it with the rest and just cry over my job. So I had a little hiccup because this orange paint is admittedly not the best orange paint. I think it's just an older can of spray paint. That's my assumption. But this is what my sprayed edition of Turtles All the Way Down looks like. I think it turned out really great. I just wanted to show you the final product. That's what it looks like. Oh, I think this one's my favorite. I'm gonna cry. And yeah, that is basically my process for how I've painted all of these books and all the books that I will continue to paint in the future. I know this isn't like brand new content and this isn't something like brand new or original. I just wanted to explain my process and have an excuse to show off my sprayed books that I've done so far, because I do love them and I'm so happy with how they've all turned out. And yeah, I ran a poll on Twitter and you guys said you wanted to see this, so you did this to yourselves. But yeah, there you have it. That is how I spray my books and also my sprayed book collection. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and leave me comments on if you spray your books, what colors you use, if you prefer acrylic paint or spray paint. Let me know all of the things, because talking to you guys is my absolute favorite thing. And if you want to see more of my content and more of my mug, you can subscribe. I upload every so often. I used to upload Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I used to say Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but like I can't keep that promise. I upload as frequently as I can. And yeah, my name is Morgan. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day and happy reading. Okay, bye!